Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
Some watercress growing in the stream. It is green, it is bitter and good.
It is summer.
This is watercress. You get your watercress from.
Watercress! Watercress! Water!
Cress. This is nutrition. The ins and outs.
Yep.
Inner world reflects the outer world.
Watercress to me is a really exciting thing too, because in this area where we live in Northern California, it's just there's this excitement to finding it, because it's especially in this kind of abundance that we're looking at right now, because it's a very nutritious.
It's doing abundance.
You notice that there's an abundance, and then there's scarcity. When you live in cities, you create scarcity, but when you're in abundance, you get to the abundance.
So sometimes, you're avoiding the bitter because you don't want to feel it, but it actually does the opposite in terms of
Bitters make you sweet.
bitters make you sweet.
Bitters make you sweet. I'm feeling sweeter since. Nice.
Bitters make
Sweet.
yeah, bitters.
Sweet.
I'm feeling sweet. I felt some bitter. I was feeling it in my body. I couldn't get out of it. I needed to feel something different, so I came to the place where the trust led me down in this lane of streamness, and there it was. I was seeking it. Do you remember?
When I wake up in the evening and I have something to say, I say, come on, let's eat some watercress today. Go all around town, go in a carpool, just kidding. No driving, staying in this little pool of a creek water. You gotta eat your watercress a few inches above the water. If you eat watercress that's close to the water, you better wash that watercress. Wash that watercress.
Water meaning agua, and I get my agua. I get up at agua because I don't live in Managua. Come back to the bitter, because the bitter will deliver it. And you know that I'm a man, and I'm not gonna quiver from it. I'm gonna take a chomp, then I'm gonna walk with it till everybody knows that I am hip to the water, the watercress, the water, the watercress, the water, the watercress,
Watercress.
And it doesn't end with watercress.
No.
Nope, not at all.
There are all
Just the
kinds of
beginning.
bitter things to cultivate a taste for.
Yes.
And open your heart with. And build why don't we just turn this into a farm and grow iceberg lettuce instead?
Well, iceberg lettuce is highly lacking not only in the bitterness, but in all kinds of phytonutrients. We don't want that.
No.
So, no, you want nutrient density in the food that you eat and the herbs that you consume. There's this giant world of nutrition out here, and it's amazing to partake of it. But this whole thing about, like, people go and see therapists, people have whole relationships that are ruined based on moods and their ideas about who they are based on their emotional states and their moods, and so often those moods are simply a byproduct of their blood sugar levels, or whatever's going on in their bodies biochemically that has everything to do with the quality of nutrition that they're ingesting. So I always find that to be, like, I was thinking of, like, what it would be to actually calculate, like, how many relationships have died, or how many violent acts have taken place, or whatnot, because somebody didn't have the proper nutrition in their lives, because literally the constituents of the hormones, or the building blocks that our endocrine system uses to keep stability emotionally in the body, you need the right nutrients to make that happen. And if you don't have the right nutrients to make that happen, you literally can't be in an even keel mood, or you can't be your best self.
Food that just doesn't work for us will cause all kinds of issues in our life, which could matriculate to our emotions, our relationships.
Absolutely.
But when we go back down to literally the roots, such as in the case of this wild creek-growing watercress, and partake in its bitter nutrients that have, the nutrients of this wild bitter watercress, even though it's bitter, and we gotta cultivate a taste for bitter, it has more tricks up its sleeve than the limited amount of phytochemicals that are in, say, cultivars of different greens that have been bred for, say, 10,000 years. Whereas this has stayed beyond feral, it stayed totally wild. You see, the main reason for a watercress plant to produce all these bitter compounds is to prevent it from being overeaten by fungus, deer, maybe even humans. But as humans, we've adapted to bitter greens so that we can eat just the right dosage, and it gives us so much benefit. As you were saying, David, earlier, it's so good for digestion to have these bitter compounds.
Wow, that is something. And
Watercress, 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 watercress. Whoa! Watercress, 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 watercress. Hey, watercress. Yo, swimming in the creek, swimming in the creek, eating some cress, swimming in the creek. I said I'm swimming, I'm swimming, I'm swimming, I'm swimming, swimming, swimming.
watercress, watercress in the creek.
In the creek.
Yeah. Said I'm watercress,
Watercress
you
in
and
the
me.
creek.
Watercress,
Watercress.
watercress,
Watercress.
watercress, watercress, give your bitterness to me, yeah, watercress,
Bitterness.
watercress,
Bitterness.
in the creek, yeah, phytonutrients for me and you and everybody who
Gonna
can
make a big
find
fat
some
salad.
watercress.
Give it to the people.